Truth, Peace, Hope, Tech, 1961. And again, I'm using Ancient Future, Maybe Chandler, um, you know, because I know that in the Kybalion, it veered, but he devoted a lot to the principle of rhythm. And let's deal with that. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. Now, I remember when I first heard of this principle by reading uh, Secret Science by John Baines, it gave me a very good clue. Now, when uh, Raby Chandler, he talks about the rhythm of societies and nations and, and how it pertains to us in the diaspora, African people around the world. He talks about how the Aryans, distorted, and he talks about the matriarchal systems around the world. And, they came in with their battle axes and, destroyed all of that, for their own purpose to exploit, the planet Earth on all levels. Not only, because then if they exploit the men, and then of course, if the men have no defense against them, then our women having a chance, because that's what we're here for. And we bow down because, of what we perceived as masculine strength. Okay, but we had a physical strength, but for some reason we chose not to use. But I believe that reasoning will be discovered, and I don't know if it would be from me internally or somebody bringing it to me, but if someone has the reason why this thing crossed over from where it is now to where it is, let's talk about that. But in the meantime, let's talk about the principles of ebbing and flowing. And I love what John Baines had said, because he said that you have like a pendulum, it swings back and forth, right? But the whole thing is that it's going to swing, right? The divine thing is to be here when it actually is swinging. It's going to swing. It's like you're on it, right? Then you jump off of it, it's still going to go, but you're just not on it. And that's the master key, because it's just like the same thing with the Kybalion talks about, in the beginning, where it talks about how real people who are enlightened to the point, society doesn't mean nothing to them, okay? But to sit back and watch your brother and your sister suffer because of ignorance, because again, another axiom from Kemet has to deal with ignorance being in sin. And so, what are these things that make us ignorant? Okay, our food that we eat, the educational systems that allegedly or supposedly supposed to educate us. Okay, our policing systems. Okay, our privatization of our natural resources. When we exploit them, most of the people being exploited around the world are women. Period. Men run these corporations. Women work in them. They don't pay them the same amount. Women have to feel that they have to be as strong as a man to do things. They have to raise children by themselves and be the man in children's lives. And a woman cannot be a man in a woman's, in a child's life. Each one should have that divine masculine or the divine feminine that should be looking up to. Not to make a choice as to who they want to be, but to see how one interacts with the other and how it is in harmony. But we've lost that harmony, because we went into a whole patriarchal system of religion, of economics, of sociology, of psychology. Okay? And there was a time where for hundreds of thousands of years, women were running things and things were going just as well. But, I always believed that, we were made, and, there was within the own feminine principles, there were those who didn't like it's like you have degrees of feminism. You have the masculine feminism, and you have the feminine feminism. And they didn't like each other. And so they created this masculine male, right? Who is supposed to be controlled by the feminine the lower degree of feminine. But what happened was they felt that the masculine feminine was going to take over everything, and so they created us. And then we figured that, you know what? They are XY. We are double X. I mean, they are double X and we are XY. We're made up of both of them. So what we did was we became much stronger. So forgive me because, you have those naysayers out there. Oh, it's the XX and the XY. He did it wrong and blah, blah, whatever. Whatever's clever, Trevor. What I'm saying is that, as it's been said, the white man, their time is coming. No, it's the man whose time is coming. Because yes, it was the Aryan that set it all off. Okay? But we have to remember that we came from something that was more divine than what they're doing and what they've done. So again, don't go with the flow of what's happening, right? Don't go with hate. And again, that's why I say it's not going to be fire and brimstone, it's going to be healed. This is where the Holy Spirit is really at play. Okay? And then, through your own soul, through your heart. Okay, how much heart do you have to look around you and to say that there's something wrong? And it's not just that people are wrong, it's just the system and society is wrong. So what we have to remember is there is an ebb and a flow. If you think things are all good, you're blind. If you think things are going to be better if it's all run by women, no, we have to run it together. We have to come to that point, that position, that we put things back in place. Yes, the Divine Mother created all of this. Yes, this is the Divine Mother's world and society. And yes, the Divine Masculine, did what it did. And so therefore, we have to remember that we have to understand that as things rise, it's going to fall. So it's not just, one day we shall overcome. It's that, no, we should be prepared for the aftermath. And the aftermath is this patriarchal system coming to an end. Not in, not in 10,000 years. It can come down tomorrow. But it's how we do it and, and why we do it. That's important. Truth, peace, and blessings.